Unshelling Medicine Podcast. Healthcare in the language we understand.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to our episode today. So that's what I guess I met a few days back, and we got talking, and I have become fond of her. So she has something important that she'll like to share, and why not? So I have the pleasure of having with me today Yvonne Schimmel. Yvonne is a medtech practitioner, and she is going to inform us what medtech she practices with, the benefits she's seen, and, just to enlighten us, because we're here to learn about what else is out there that we can also use to improve our wellness. So without further ado, hi Yvonne, welcome.
Well, thank you so much for having me. It's a real pleasure. And unfortunately, I have to start with something. We have to protect ourselves. So I have to read a disclaimer. The AO Scan Technology Program is a unique and educational and wellness tool that provides users with non-invasive frequency-based feedback. This technology is intended for personal insight and wellness support only. It's not a medical device and does not diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease or condition. It is designed to promote self-awareness through the exploration of frequency-based data and sound tools. So after this, let's talk about what I do.
With that said, let's proceed.
Okay, yeah. Well, I started to use with a medical device. It's about 12 years ago now. And that device was still, you have to attach a person to the device. And then you get a lot of information, and that works with frequency. And last year I got to know a different device, and this device is from America, from the Solex company. And we can do this online by an application on any device. And it's all about frequency. So your body is frequency, and the energy around it, it's also frequency. We are not just a body. We are so much more than a body. We have this energy field, the biofield around us. And that's actually what this can measure. So in this biofield, we already can see what's going on in your body, or even what's not yet in your body. And we already can detect it. And Einstein already said, frequency healing is the future of medicine. And yeah, I do believe that we are the pioneers, and this company is the pioneer of the future. And actually the future is already here. It's already now. And so that's why we start to work with him with this device. And I do believe that in time, I hope that in every household, every family has this tool, so they can provide their family with a lot of information about their health and how they can support themselves with the information that this scan gives them. So that's, in short, what I'm doing with the scan. And next to that, it's not only the scanning, it is also providing the people with information. I wrote a book about nutrition, and people always ask me, okay, what is healthy? And I say, well, or what is a healthy diet? And then I say, well, the diet for you may not be a good diet for someone else. So you have to look into the person, and you have to listen to your body. And that is very important. And I do believe that we kind of lost the touch, the feeling with our body, who we are, what our body does need, because we are in a rat race every day, and we don't feel that much anymore. So that's why in the last decade, over a decade, I have had about 5,000 clients. And yeah, they need personal care. They need someone who listens to them. And, I don't want to badmouth the doctors or whatsoever. I mean, that's not my intention, but they don't have time anymore. It's 10 minutes, at least with the doctors in the Netherlands, where I come from, you have 10 minutes. And then it's just, okay, yeah, well, that's the cause, that's the reason. Okay, this is the medication, and bye. And we should work more together, because I do believe that the things that we do, we can give the regular, the hospitals, the doctors, an extra tool to get a good insight. Okay, what's really going on in the body of this patient? So yeah, I do believe in working together, but it's still difficult. Yeah.
It still is, and I think it's because of decade-long practices of doing things a certain way. But there is this wave. I don't want to call it a new wave because it's always been there. You mentioned Einstein while you were talking. There's this wave of more medical practitioners, the modern medicine medical practitioners, integrating holistic and integrative approaches into their care or their patients' care practices. Why do you think that is happening now? Are we at a point of fatigue that the system that we used to is not working as well anymore? Or are we now understanding that we are more than the physical presentation, the physical casing of a human body?
Well, I think that people get wiser. They find more on the internet, and they are sick and tired of actually being ignored. And I do believe that that's why more and more people are looking in the complementary, is that right English?
Yeah, it's complementary, holistic, or integrative. There's so
Yeah.
many.
More in the holistic part, that people are looking there.
Yeah.
And like I said, I would love to work together. Unfortunately, it's still very hard to do and to get to know into that world. But yeah, I do believe that that's why people are more looking holistic ways, because they don't get an answer at the doctor.
So when it comes to relationship, as we continue to build together, I absolutely love how you said it's not about bashing doctors, because my platform is not about bashing one or the other. It's about finding a common ground. And that is the easiest way for us to have a collaboration of working together. I find, I don't know how the healthcare system is structured in Netherlands, but in the United States, I find that a lot of private practices, a lot of private practitioners, doctors that are not in a big hospital system where there are a lot of red tapes, especially when it comes to decision making. That partly is not because the hospital system doesn't want to make a change. They're usually slow to making changes because of the sensitivity of data and things of that nature. So with your knowledge of the Netherlands and how the healthcare system is structured, where do you think the most impact will be made in getting that collaboration from modern medical practitioners? Is it with the big hospitals? Is it with the smaller clinics? Or do you have like general practitioners who practice in community-based clinics who have their own private practice?
Well, I think the private practice, a couple of years ago, I attended a seminar of India online seminar, and all those doctors who were there got out of the system of the hospitals and they started their own private practice. Yeah. Because there are so much regulations that they want to do different, but they are not allowed to do different. So more and more doctors are, waking up and know that they have to do something else. And even the board of the education of the doctors, I don't know how you exactly say that in English. Sorry, my English is not 100% perfect. But in 2018, they already knew that, the structure of the education of the doctors has to change. Mm. And it still has not changed, I do believe. So the education is still the same. Yeah. And there is nothing about personal care. There's nothing about nutrition. And that's where they start. So that's why those doctors all got out of the system and started their own practice, because now they can practice the way they want to do it. So as long as it does not change at the basic core of the institute of the education of the doctors, there will be no change. And more doctors will quit and start their own private practice.
Yeah. I'm seeing that a lot too. And again, knowing and understanding the system because of So healthcare is one of those industry that let's think this way has, even if it doesn't work, we're used to this. So when you're talking about education in the medical school, there's this common undertone. It's widely spoken, but it's spoken within the nursing and doctors community. The doctors are trained to treat, focus on the disease process, right? And nurses are trained to focus on the person and how they're responding to the treatment and the
Hmm.
disease process, right? A lot of the doctors that I have spoken to, have relationship with, I've worked with, most of us, even nurses as well, most of us learn on the job. So there's a lot that is not being taught in the classroom because the focus is to try to have you understand at minimum the general concept of a presentation of a disease process, treatment, and management, right? But we leave out the core foundation of why that disease process is present in the first place. You mentioned nutrition. Nutrition is a course that I would like to see incorporated throughout the education process. Not just because it's food, it's because that diverse food and the diverse reaction to the human body, right? And different ages too. So we talk about lifespan, we talk about infancy, toddler, teenager, young adulthood, middle age, and older geriatrics. And we talk about the changes that occurs in the human body. But with that change comes the changes to metabolism. And what do we metabolize as well? Food. Why are we not focused on that aspect as well as the medication and how it affects the human body? So changing at the point of education, I agree with you, but where we can also make that change, where it can trickle into that system, is more, I believe, would be more practitioners as opposed to losing doctors. I don't call it a loss. I don't call it a loss. There's a benefit to it. As opposed to doctors leaving the general hospital practice to form their own practice, these things can be integrated at a level where a doctor goes into residency and they're learning under an attending, right? So if you didn't learn it in the classroom, this is the real world, right? We're dealing with human lives, right? So this is how this works. And that can only happen at an organization level where a lot of the
Hmm.
hospitals have their own policies. So what do you think about that? If it's not happening in the school, in the institution, because the institution has its own, however not perfect, don't get me wrong, they have their own schema of things. Do you think it would be beneficial for hospitals that these doctors out of school are practicing in to include this in their policy, to include holistic and integrative practices and even nutrition into the learning processes of the doctors and nurses and social workers and whoever is involved in patient care?
I think it's absolutely, first of all, it's the responsibility of the institute that trains the doctors. That's the basic. There, it should already start.
Okay.
But it's also the responsibility of the doctor herself. I mean, during my time that I'm working with this medical device, this body scan, I walked into a few doctors and they trained themselves. They
Yeah.
were aware that they were, not giving enough to their clients. And they found out, hey, wow, there's nutrition, what can help people, their patients to become better. So it's, yeah, but not every doctor sees that. And I'm like, wake up. I mean, yes, please wake up. With nutritional advice. Like I said, in the decade, over a decade, I worked with my medical device, and so many people came to me, and with just first of all listen to them, and then talk to them about their nutrition. What is it that you eat in the morning for lunch, for dinner? What kind of snacks do you eat? How much do you drink? Do you, consume alcohol? Do you smoke? With those questions, you get a complete insight in someone's health. And from that point on, you can work with that
Yeah.
patient. And that's why more and more health practitioner in the holistic way pops up, because doctors do not do this.
I think they do on a very surface level. It is done as part of your intake. I see that a lot, where it's done on a surface level, but what is the
Hmm.
follow through after that? So it's
Nothing. That's
right.
the problem.
Right. So, having it as part as the person's medical record is one thing, but what are we actively doing for this person to self-manage or even implement an effective lifestyle change? What is that?
Yeah.
There's a continuum of care, right? So leave the hospital in the community. What resources do we have for you? I think that is where we really fall short.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's, I don't know how to change it, and hopefully in time it will, but and that's why I'm so happy with my device from Solax, because with the device back home we will do a body scan. I will scan you, and then you have to have this device at your
Okay.
home, and it gives you so much information, and that's why I do believe in this system, because with this, if you do the measurements yourself every day, you exactly can see, oh, I can eat this, but I can't eat this. And, oh, this is out of balance, or my hormones are out of balance, or, oh, my blood doesn't look well. And if you see that time after time, then oh, wait a minute, something is wrong. And so you have a very strong or powerful tool at home. And if you put this device into the hospitals or in a doctor's practice, I mean, it's a couple of minutes, and within those minutes, the doctor can get so much information from the patient. So this device would be the best for the hospitals and the doctors as an extra tool.
Yeah.
Because I spoke years ago, I spoke a doctor, and she said, well, I get more and more patients who have so many fake complaints. They have no clue what's going on. No clue. And they are just guessing. They're just guessing maybe you should try this medication and see if it works. The patient comes back 1 month later or 2 months. No, it didn't work. Okay, let's try this one. Because they have no clue what's going on. If you use a medical device like the Solax body scan, you can see what's going on. And you use that information, and then you implement it. Okay, what can we do with it, with nutrition? What can we do with coaching? Because coaching is also very important.
Yes.
It's ask the patient, how is your life? How is your life with your husband or your wife? And how's your children? How is work? How are parents? Those are so many important questions to get the insight in the emotional part of the patient. So it's not only your body, it's not only how is your body functioning, but it's your emotion. And I do believe that your emotions are causing your physical problems. What do you think of that?
No, it's absolutely true. We have gotten, and as you were talking about that, it took me back to tough conversations that I've had with some doctors, because it's kind of like a trial and error. These are not harmless trial and error. We're giving medication that will change the body chemistry, right? And then we wonder why something else is popping up. Is there a better way? And I think the reason for that is because we've gotten used to a reactory module of care. So we only react when something goes on wrong, right? So preventative there's no money in prevention. That's the other bit to this as well. If I keep you healthy, then you're not coming in and out of the hospital.
Exactly.
Okay. So if I keep you healthy, or if you can keep yourself healthy in a sense, or if you can monitor your health, then there'll be no need for you to have repeated hospital visits. But then on the flip side of that, we have the payers who are working hard. I've worked for an insurance payer before who are trying to reduce costs of people going in and out of the hospital, that we have quality measures right now for hospitals to incentivize hospitals that, if you can keep your patient out over 30 days past the last hospitalization, then you'll be reimbursed. However, if they come, we have all these tools that we're using to either incentivize or punish providers. However, are we trusting people to know enough? Not to say that people that are not self-sabotaging, okay? That people that even are self-sabotaging because there's something going on, right? Emotionally, mentally, and everything. And the people that genuinely want to do good, but they don't know how. The education is not there,
Yeah,
And
exactly.
this is why I've always disagreed with that narrative that people are non-compliant. I've met more people with chronic conditions who do not know where this is coming from, that are actively, they've done everything to try to adhere to treatment recommendation, but they have obstacles, whether it's social determinants of health focus or just education or knowledge base, that they're not able to comply with those treatment recommendations, right? However, we cannot lump people, and we've gotten used to just being reactive. Okay, let's see if this works. Let's see if this
Hmm.
works. Let's see if this
Yeah.
works. And we're not doing that innocently or harmlessly. That is just my one frustration of sort, right? It's not harmless, unfortunately. And even when you listen, and you don't have this in the Netherlands, and something that my daughter, who at the time she was 8 when she noticed this, we traveled, we were in London, and commercials were coming, advertisements, for the English people were coming on TV. And she's like, you know what, Mom, I haven't noticed anything about any medication or drugs. And that is because in the United States, it's only in America that you have clear commercial advertisement for drugs. And even within the advertisements, we talk about, yes, the medication is prescribed for this. However, these are the symptoms that may come up, right? And we still get prescribed this medication, and we still take them. And then we wonder why things are popping up. Okay, maybe try this to fix that. And this results in that. So it's been a lot. So I'm glad you're talking about this. And I know that the doctors, great doctors, who are
Absolutely.
educating themselves, like you say, but it takes the exposure to it. So that's why I went back to the hospital systems and policies and the decision makers. It is very important that at the point where a person is practicing, that they understand that they have that support. Most practitioners who do not show maybe a willingness or a desire to want to learn something else is because they know
Hmm.
they don't have the support, and they can be blackballed. That is a thing, right? And we got into this practice to help people, okay? And also to have a living. So when that is threatened, people tend to be quiet. People tend to operate within the status quo. People who get frustrated because they don't feel the fulfillment of what they signed up to do, and also they don't feel the benefit from their practice, are the ones that go off to start their own private practices. And not everybody has that a mindset to branch out, right? So, yeah, what do you think?
Yeah, well, that's true. And what I found out now is that actually all old doctors who have experience for many, many years now, I just already said, woken up and understand. So
Yeah.
that really, I thought more young doctors would do that, but it's the old category who are knowing now, okay, for years we have done wrong. We have provided the wrong information. We have provided the wrong treatments, and actually they were apologizing to their patients. Listen, we have done wrong. What we told you and what we did to you, it was not right. So I'm really happy with that, and I hope more and more doctors will follow. And this week I had just had a conversation with also a doctor, MD, and he quit his job. He said, I'm not just getting out of the system because it's the thing. What we can do is not enough. We need to do more. And yeah, unfortunately, it's like that. And years ago, I was with the doctor explaining about the body scan, and he was flabbergasted by the information we could provide. And after that, he said, well, I can't do anything with it because I'm not allowed. So secretly, he started to send his patients he had no clue what was wrong, to me. So, but it's crazy. It's crazy that that's the way it's going, that it's happening. I mean, why secretly? But why not get your own device as a doctor and, it provides you with necessary information? No, it has to be a secret that he sends his patients to me.
Yeah. It has to be a secret. Going back to what I mentioned earlier, losing your license. And, as
Yeah.
humans, we like the prestige. We've done something and it's become an identity. And the fear of having to lose that is a real thing. You just just call a spade a spade. A fear of having to lose what you've cultivated all your life, you've committed your life, most of your
Yeah,
life to, right? The fear of losing that and knowing that that fear is very real, right? It is a real thing. So, in his way of satisfying his conscience, how can I help people without risking my own security? I will do it in secret, right? So that way I am satisfying my conscience and also making sure that the people who trust me to care for them are being taken care of. And I actually applaud him for doing that because he recognized the tough position that he was in. You mentioned the older doctors. It goes back to that adage, experience is the best teacher.
for sure. Yeah,
They've experienced their practice. They know where they fell short. They've seen things. And immediately it clicked that, oh my goodness, there's more, right? I could be doing more. However, when you have a brand new doctor who just bright-eyed and bushy-tailed from medical school, they commit to whatever they learned in school like it is the book of life, right?
yeah,
Less they were exposed to that. And most of the doctors that I've spoken to, either on this program or privately, that have incorporated holistic and integrative practices into their current practice, had an attending who did that for them within a hospital system that supported that, right?
that's
So
right. Yeah,
I'm coming from an institution that is very traditional, and I'm learning under an attending that is very traditional, and under a hospital system that is very traditional or modern medicine, I should call it. I will scoff at the idea that there's something outside of what I learned in school, learned from my attending, and learned within the hospital system, right? So, yes, the older guys, applause. You know, they say you can't teach a new dog
oh,
a new dog. Right. Hello. They learned something, right?
yeah,
So I
yeah, yeah.
really actually applaud them because in my experience, it's usually the older doctors that kind of, that's the way we've always done things around here, right? But
True,
to hear
true.
that is very refreshing. And I know a lot of them too. Doctors that have been practicing for 30, 40, almost 50 years. Looking at the new ways, it's like we didn't always get it right. However, you guys are coming up with new
Yeah,
innovative ideas. Let me see what I can learn from it. And I
yeah,
respect that a whole lot. And
yeah.
having this platform to, talk to people like you and doctors who are listening to us, looking to learn more independently because they didn't get it from school or their current practice, and committing themselves to learning is quite refreshing. It really is.
Yeah, absolutely. I was 2 years ago. I was in Dubai for the health conference, and there were, of course, a lot of doctors and health practitioners. And I was so happy to hear that, and they were kind of the 40, 50, the younger, and I was so happy to hear that they realized that there's more than just the traditional healthcare system, and they were providing and learning more and more how they do the modern one and with the holistic one, or the traditional one with the holistic one. And yeah, they do all believe that that's so important, so important. And I was last year, I was with a conference here in the Netherlands, and there were 1,000 doctors and therapists in the room, and all talking about how can we, bind forces together, or how mix forces together, work together in a system that's traditional and holistic healthcare, because it's the best. I do believe it's the best way for the patient. Absolutely.
Yes, it
So
really
I
is.
think there is progress. I do believe that there is progress,
Yeah.
but we still have a long way to go.
We do. I agree. There is progress. It's not a tornado level progress. It's not turbo. However, we're still moving. I think we're moving in the right direction. And with more and more of these conferences, I've been fortunate to attend some of them. The one you mentioned in Dubai, that is really my periphery right now. And so it's just having a space where people who think outside of the box, the proverbial box, is very important. And I encourage anybody who's listening to us have this conversation. Please, please, please. If you're in healthcare or you practice within the realm of wellness it is very important that even if you cannot attend all the programs, people are busy, you have jobs, you have responsibility, you understood. However, look for conferences that you can attend, because a lot can come out from a conference. And the one thing that definitely is going to come out from any conference that you attend is education. You will be exposed to things that you never thought possible, right? You will meet people who are moving and shaking in a way that is quite inspiring. Please, please, please find a conference, attend a conference. We all want to do better for our patients. You mentioned listening. Yeah. Listening to your patient part is very important. However, you mentioned time as well. Most practitioners are short on time.
Yeah, and that's, I mean, that's not their fault. It's the way how the system works. Like I said, in the Netherlands, we have a pretty good healthcare system. It's not bad at all. But the doctor, you get 10 minutes with your doctor, and then it's next. So there is no time to tell your story, what's going, like I said, what's going on, with your world, in your world.
Right.
And that's why a lot of people go to a holistic practitioner, because we take time.
Yeah.
I mean, 1 hour, an hour and a half, I have my patients with me.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's just an hour of talking, just in asking questions. And even just listen to the patient who's telling his or her story and what's bothering them is already a part of the healing process. Not that medication, that special medication. No, it's listening and understanding, and that they feel, okay, I have a doctor who listened to me and who asks questions and who wants to know why I'm sick. Instead of, okay, yeah, years ago, I was with my daughter at the doctor, and she said, Mom, can you come with me? I said, yeah, sure. She said, the doctor asked her, okay, what do you think yourself is wrong with you? And then, of course, my daughter looked at me, Mom, and I was like, well, I think this and this and this is going on. And the doctor was, okay, and she was like, behind the laptop. Okay. And I was like, there's hardly any face-to-face anymore. They are the whole time. The other day, a client of mine, a patient, she asked me to come to her doctor because she has a very serious disease, and there are only a few people in the world who have this. And she was like, I don't get an answer. I don't get really help. And they say, oh, we have no clue. We don't know what to do. And I was like, but did they check this and this and this and this and this? No, never. So I went with her to the doctor, and the doctor was the whole time. Well, she listened, she took the time, but a lot of times she was. And I'm like, look at her, look her in the eyes, and hear what she is telling you. And now finally she gets more research done, but it's ridiculous that she has to take me to be more, has authority in her way to get it done. So there's still a lot of improvements necessary, unfortunately. Yeah.
Absolutely. And, that's why I do advocacy work as well, because there's something called a lab coat syndrome. And people do get into doctors' offices and really get flustered, and they cannot really express themselves. And the doctors are busy trying to write their notes so they do not forget. I know you asked me a question earlier, and I got talking about other things that I forgot to answer that. When it comes to expression, we underestimate the power and release and healing expressing your feelings has.
Yeah.
We underestimate that. I think culturally, I don't know who lied to us, and especially women, that women are to be seen and not heard. So we trap all these feelings and all these negative emotions in our body, and we wonder why we end up with chronic conditions, right? We wonder why we're ending up with some very serious mental disorders because we do not express. We're not expressive.
Exactly.
Okay? And when we express, we're told we're too much, or, that is unladylike, or you're not supposed to be heard, right? So whoever if you're listening to us, you're a lady, please let it out. Let out that frustration. If you do not want to speak it, write it out. Find a pillow, scream it into a pillow, something, right? Please do not sit on your emotions. It's not healthy. It doesn't do anything good for your body. Please don't do it. Express yourself. And if you need to go to the doctor, there's several people. Actually, nursing concierge services that offer this service, where you find a nurse who has experience in a specific area of care, or a wellness coach, right, to accompany you to your appointment. If you have been going to your appointment and you don't know quite what to ask, how to ask it, how to express yourself, you can talk to a wellness coach. Most insurance companies in the US do cover that. Concierge nursing services or concierge advocacy services. You can go with an advocate to your doctor's appointment, and they can ask you specific questions. They can help you direct your care. Your care is your care. The doctor depends on you to treat you. Don't
True.
believe the hype. they depend on you. Because why are they writing all these notes? Right? Because they want to know from your account what is going on so they can direct your treatment. You are in the driver's seat of your health care, nobody else. It is your body. You know where it pinches, you know where it hurts, you know where it's flushing with heat, you know where it's chilly. It is your body. Everybody depends on you expressing how you feel in your body to be able to treat you. So doctors are humans too. Don't let them intimidate you. They depend on you too to talk to them. So Yvonne, understanding that the doctors have 10 minutes to spend with their patients, and that may not change anytime soon because of the way the structure of the hospital, when we're talking about the financial profitability and different things of that sort. What is the other alternative to making sure a patient has their needs met? My suggestion, given what you do, if a doctor does not have time to spend with their patients, collaborating and partnering with wellness coaches, nutritional coaches, nurses, advocates that not only can intervene but also understand a patient, maybe culturally, maybe dynamically, whatever it is, to be that extra liaison or a care provider. So where a doctor is not getting the full information because they only have about 10 minutes to see a patient and they have about 20 patients to see through the day, they can then have a solid history to review before this person comes back to them next time. So if there's any treatment recommendation, they can go by that. How important is having that? I don't want to call it outsourcing because it almost sounds like a removal. I want to start more of a partnership because I know doctors who do that. How important is it to build a relationship like that for the sake of the patient's wellness?
Yeah, I think that's very important. And like I said before, that's why I got so many patients, because the doctor did not have time.
Yeah.
And how great would it be if you have a collaboration, teamwork, partner up with the doctor and who gets the client. And first, I want to mention something. If you have no one else to come with you, why don't you write your points down? Take a piece of paper, write your points down. These are my issues. And even we can do that in the Netherlands. You can ask for 20 minutes because we have a healthcare system. And so we have to pay every month a certain amount of money. So you can ask for 20 minutes. So if you think I need extra time, ask that. And then, of course, the receptionist, the secretary would ask, okay, why do you need so much time? And then already have your notes ready. Say, okay, I have this, I have this, I have this, I have this. I want to talk about this and this and this. And then she will give you the 20 minutes. So I don't know how it works in other countries, but that could help you already. Take your notes and then take it to the doctor, and you are there. And then exactly, if you are not spoken out that well, like you said, a lot of people have that. They have their issues, they come to the doctor and then blockage. They don't know what to say anymore. So write it down. But coming back to the partnership with a wellness coach or a lifestyle coach, whatever you will call it, I mean, how wonderful would that be? You come to a doctor, the doctor has no clue, don't know what's going on, and then say, okay, go to Yvonne. She will find out what's going on in your system. And then I, as a therapist, I will make a report. And then the patient come back with the report to the doctor. And then he knows more, so much more. Okay, and then he can see, okay, this and this and this. Well, we think that might be the cause of your issue. let's forward with that. What did Yvonne advise you? Other nutrition, start eating this and taking supplements, or start doing exercise, or start yoga, or whatsoever. Then, then those 10 minutes become 10 hours.
Yeah.
So yeah, that would be a great idea if that would be possible. Absolutely.
I think it's one area. There's so many areas that we can go in effective, meaningful changes and making an impact positively in everybody's lives, whether it's a patient or the practitioner. This human experience has to be improved somehow. And I think the one way to do it is for us to work together collaboratively and value one another in that process. Because
Absolutely.
I'm not of the mindset that only one person should know everything and do everything, because there's a lot on the doctor's shoulders. I've seen them stressed,
Yeah.
and a lot of on the nurse's shoulders. However, there are other people that do other things very, very well, and we have to work together if we really do truly want to make sure that whatever it is that we're doing in life or in our different careers benefit the general human experience. So that has always been my overview and my outlook to us progressing effectively in a healthy manner. And that's why this platform exists.
Perfect. You're doing such a great job. Absolutely.
Thank you. Connecting all of us together. Doesn't matter what area you're practicing in, doesn't matter what you do or what you're looking to learn. We are all learning. We all learn to be here in the first place, and we'll continue to learn. We'll continue to make impact
Always.
in lives. Always and always on always. I think it takes a special human, Yvonne, and you're a special human to want to do better for other people. And let me just come back to your origin story. How did you get involved in frequency work and making sure that you learned enough to be able to make a positive impact in people's lives?
Well, yeah, my story started 12, 13 years ago, and I was not feeling that well. And I had no clue. I also was one of the patients with fake complaints. And then
Not for me to hear. When you said it the first time, it hit me so hard. What is fake complaint? What is that? Okay, go ahead. Sorry.
So, you're not feeling well, but you have no clue. So I didn't go to the doctor, by the way. I was like, that's useless. And so I started to look into it myself. I started to use supplements. I started to take just a course of where I got information about nutrition. And then I was like, okay, this is very interesting. And after about a couple of months, I started to feel much better. And I was like, okay. So then I just got my education of medical healthcare and nutritional care. And then I started to work with the body scan. So I became a therapist. But I kept on learning on YouTube, take special courses. And I'm still learning. It's a never ending story, and you have to keep up. You have to keep up with everything what's going on. And then, of course, the body scan found me. Actually, the body scan found me. So I knew straight away, this is it. This is an amazing tool to work with. So yeah, and I wrote a book, I think already 2 years ago, all about nutrition. And it just started with a few papers to my clients, scribble the things down and say, okay, this is healthy stuff you should eat. And then bit by bit, it turned out into a complete book. It's just the basic, what everyone should know about nutrition. So and I do coaching. I help people. Just a nice story. I work as a volunteer in a hotel in France, and I had to pick up a guest from the station, and we connected. And so she has a room here in the hotel, but well, it's a kind of another story. But I will tell you the basic. I just out of the blue, we went away for a day. We visited a beautiful place. And she started to talk with me about her issues and what was going on and her life. And by just, not one-to-one, but just having a walk, sightseeing, And after a couple of days she spent with me, it was like she completely turned into this woman who was excited again, who had energy again, and it was nice being back in life. And actually that was the reason how my retreat started. So I'm going to have some retreats here in France by just having people over and spending time with them, working in the garden, go out for sightseeing, have a hike here in beautiful Ardèche and the surroundings. And that's the way how it also can work. It's not only a doctor or a therapist, but also just go into nature and have fun. And that's helping out people also.
Yeah.
So that's my passion, helping people.
I love it. I love it. I'm a fan of hugging trees and touching grass. I
Oh,
absolutely.
yeah. For some grounding. Absolutely. Yeah.
Just going out bare feet in the grass. It's like have me nature. So yeah, when people say go touch grass, it's a great advice. There's not, don't be offended. If you're dysregulated, just go touch grass. Be regulated. So
spend 20 minutes with your feet on the grass, or
absolutely.
indeed hug a tree.
Hug a tree.
Get back to earthing again, because the grounding is so important. It's very important.
Yes,
Yeah.
it is.
And
Yeah.
we nowadays, we hardly get grounded because we walk on our shoes and we hardly are in nature anymore.
That's right.
So, and that's what I tell my patients. Go for a walk. Or if you have a garden, be on the grass for a couple of minutes, or sit on the grass with bare feet and your hands, like a dog. I mean, if a dog has stress or a cat, it does this, and that's what we have to do. Also, that's what we can do in the garden, or just stand with your feet on the grass and just shake it off. And shaking it off is a way of getting rid of blocked emotions. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for saying that. So it's the lot of tree huggers in the world. Regulate yourself. Be one of them. Therapy
Yep.
therapy is expensive for most people, right? Therapy is expensive, but nature is all around you. Nature is all around you.
Yep.
And I think
Free.
we worry about opinions and perception. Please do it for yourself. Don't worry about anybody else. Go out in the grass, just like Yvonne said, bare feet, sit in it, lie down, palm down, whatever you want to do, right? Just stand by a tree, hug it, lean on it, whatever it is. Release those emotions. Those trapped emotions are ugly. They are very, very ugly. So this was such a great conversation. So Yvonne, with everybody listening to us today, they're very interested in working with you. They're very interested in frequency. What is that process like, working with you, reaching out to you and collaborating? Should that be something that our listeners are interested in doing?
Well, they can reach me through my website, and it's healthworldwide.help. And there they can find all the information that it is what I'm doing. And I'm doing much more. But that's just, I always see, okay, what someone needs, and that will be given. And I can work online. Like I said, with the AO scan, you don't need to come to my practice. I can do it all online. And also we can send frequency therapy. So that will help with your health issues. That can help. And next to that, I give nutritional advice. They can get my book. And I do also Reiki healing. I can do it from a distance. We can do coaching sessions. And if people are interested in my retreat, check the website. There's still spots left. So they can come to France and enjoy the beautiful nature.
A good reason to take a trip to France. I'm just saying.
Absolutely.
So thank you, Yvonne. This is so great. Thank you for being here. Your presence is appreciated. Something that I usually ask of my guests as, we wrap up a show is, what advice would you have for our listening audience? I usually call them golden nuggets, and we talked about quite a bit of them today. So what are a few things, or a few golden nuggets, or even one golden nugget that you'd like to leave to our listening audience?
I would say start listening to your body. I mean, if you have a dis-ease, then your body is out of frequency and you have to tune back into your frequency of being whole. And that's difficult. I do understand that's difficult, but starting with to listen and to say, okay, what is it exactly that I'm feeling? And you can do it in a meditation. I always say to my clients, start to meditate, even if it's 5 minutes a day. I mean, with those 5 minutes, you get your energy out of the rat race that you are in 24/7. And then start with 5, then to 10, then to 15. And even if it's just 2-3 times a week, you have to become in contact with who you are, and not only your body, but also your energy, and tune in, tap into who you are and start feeling. And I think that's the most important one, that people start feeling again. What is actually that I feel today? Do I feel happy? Do I feel sad? Where is it coming from? Why do I have this? And being positive, also another one. People ask me, I lived for 3 years in London, and I remember this guy, and he said, Yvonne, how is it possible? You're always so happy. You're always smiling. And I said, well, it's a choice. It's actually a choice that whatever is going on in my life, I choose to be happy. You know, and we can do a whole new podcast about that, about how to manifest, how to just be, and well, whatever. So that's very important. Yeah, meditate, get back to who you are, feel yourself, be happy regardless what's going on in your world. And I think those are the most important ones to start with. Yeah.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. I could not agree more. Happiness is a choice. Positivity is a choice. There's some people that are just steeped in negativity and complaining all the time. You can't help them. Just don't recognize it and keep it away from you. It's okay to detach. Yep. Okay? Choose happiness, choose joy, choose fulfillment. I love it. Feel again. It's okay. Feel. And so much has happened in the world that, has disconnected us from feeling. I get it, but it's okay for you to just connect with your body again. Thank you, Yvonne. That was such a great message. I really do appreciate you. And as you said, hi, everybody. So I'm saying this in front of witnesses. This is not the last time we're going to have Yvonne over.
Good. I love it.
So we will have her over. So all the resources she provided, we will make it available in the show notes. So if you did not catch it, it will be there. Just click in, explore, reach out, see what you can learn. Life is about learning. It's a continuous learning process. So It doesn't matter where you are, career-wise, age, whatever. It is a continuous learning process. So if you feel there's something different or additional that you should be doing, whether in your life or the life of others, there is a reason why it's nagging at you, right? There's a reason why maybe you came across a reel from this podcast or whatever, or even this episode. So choose to impact the world. You're being spoken to. Don't ignore it. All right? Thank you, everybody, for listening. Again, Yvonne, it was such an honor to have you on. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing your joy and your work with us. We really, really do appreciate you, and we're grateful.
Thank you for having me. It was amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye, everybody. Take care.
Thanks for tuning in to Unshelling Medicine Podcast. If you want to stay up to date with the latest episodes, make sure to hit that subscribe button on your favorite podcast platform. If you enjoyed today's episode, please take a moment to leave us a review. Follow us on social media at Altruistic Scribe on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn. We share additional tips, updates, and health-related content that you won't want to miss. Have any questions or topics you'd like us to cover in future episodes? Reach out to us at altruisticscribeco.com. We're always eager to hear from our listeners and tackle the health topics that matter most to you. Until next time, stay healthy and take care.